Hi, welcome to the Growth Bridge. My name is Ivo-Castillo here in Miami. This podcast is for entrepreneurs with and leaders with strong ties in Latin America who want to understand how Anglo founders think about growth, leadership, and decision making and how they apply their mindset to your own business. Today, I'm excited to have Aaron Wolskler. He's the founder of CBM Marketing. How are you, Aaron?
I am very well, Evo. Thank you for having me. I sincerely
No,
appreciate it, my friend.
thank
Yeah,
you for being here.
very nice to be on.
Let's get started.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Jump in.
First question. Can you share about your background and how it fits in CBR marketing?
Yeah, sure. Great question. Where did it all begin? So my background began in hospitality. From 2009 to 2014, I worked for a resort company in Sedona, Arizona, and my job was to invite these people to a timeshare tour. And with that, we invited them on a discounted helicopter Jeep tour. And it was at that, 4 or 5 year period where I probably talked to about 8 or 9 thousand couples face to face and really began to understand that the world of sales and psychology are very, very closely connected. And the reasons why people say yes or no can oftentimes be very predictable. And in a lot of cases, you can help guide them and reduce friction in advance, prior to asking for that yes or no. And so as I did this timeshare marketing, right? Timeshare marketing is what we were doing. I found that it was not a matter of the offer, but it was a matter of wits. And he who had a better understanding of the other person's, position ultimately was going to win. So without going too deep, like into sales and psychology, that's kind of where it started. Maybe that's for another time. And then after that, I worked for a nonprofit motorcycle museum, which is where I began doing digital marketing. And I came to my father and I told him, I said, there's all these digital marketing strategies that you could be doing for the Wheels Through Time Motorcycle Museum. And he said, hey, Aaron, sure, sounds good. Go give it a shot. At the time, I think my brother had just gotten, let go, or he was running the online stuff. And so I went to kind of take this over and employed like a lot of standard best practice, digital marketing strategies. So, interest targeting for people interested in knucklehead and panhead, which are types of Harley Davidson motorcycles from the 30s or 40s. So if you can imagine reaching a guy interested in panheads and you're showing him a motorcycle raffle for, a panhead. So we had a really, really high win rate for the ads that we started to run back in, 2015, 16, 17. And after I left there, I said, I need to help other businesses around the world do their digital marketing better. I see a really, really noisy world out there of, tools that, there's just so many tools, as a small business owner, where do you start? And, what do you look at? What do you measure? What do you spend your money on? And so I've seen a lot of people waste money. I've seen a lot of people have money stolen from them. I've seen a lot of terrible product get produced. And so it became my mission to help businesses market better and have a better presence online.
And right now, who buys your solution?
Yeah,
Who is your daily basis client?
that's a good question. In the beginning, it was anybody who would listen to me, talk about marketing. And we really didn't, have a specific niche. Over the past 7 years, we only ran one marketing campaign, at launch, which was just some, door to door. And over the last 7 years or so, we've just kind of grown organically, and been systemizing and productizing, our full marketing suite and our suite of tools. And so now that we are, I would say, more ready to go to market than we have been over the last couple of years, we're looking for businesses who are, currently producing anywhere from 1 to 2 million, who want to grow that, to 3, 4, 5, 6 million. And so we've really found a sweet spot in there. Using some standard best practices, some strategy, coordination, and collaboration, with that team. We found that we can employ, a 5 to 7% advertising budget, and we can actually see that lift over the course of, of 2 to 3 years. And those circumstances I mentioned, which I'm sure sounded high, are in the case like, where we're doing $1 million plus and we're not taking advantage of a lot of the marketing tactics. And so we come in and analyze and we say, hey, this is what you should be doing. This is what you should be doing. Let's change this. And, typically we recommend an ad spend budget, which is somewhere between, 1 to 3% of your, overall revenue, just as like a baseline. And then from there, there's some calculations and formulas that we can look at to calculate, what kind of impact is a $20,000 spend budget going to have on your business.
Yeah.
Well, let's start to look. And so we'll chop it down and look at, you know, average value per visitor, what that lift looks like, the diminishing conversion rate as you get further out into different ad channels. So we take each of those and we tie it in, and then we put together a stable revenue course that follows that marketing budget.
And you do that through your all-in-one solution, right? That we're talking about. Can you explain a little bit about this all-in-one solution that CBM's marketing offer?
Absolutely, yeah. It is a great spot to differentiate the two. When we opened CBM Marketing Solutions in 2018, we began with 3 services, which was social posting, Facebook ads, and Google ads. And over the years, we've grown into CRMs and automations and email marketing and national press distribution, website builds. So that's expanded. And then as we've observed and looked at all these different tools over the years, it was last year that we built and launched the CBM Marketing Suite. And the CBM Marketing Suite is what you asked,
Yes.
what is this tool that you can offer businesses? And so the CBM Marketing Suite is it is a marketing dashboard and also has a built-in CRM. It has executive marketing reports. It's got automations. It's got text message and email message marketing built in. It handles custom fields, so you can keep any type of information that you want about your customers. And it's got automations, and so you can trigger any number of events to happen, ranging from drip campaigns to notify a team member to, hey, have AI write a custom proposal based on the form that they filled out. So we can actually put in these workflows. Anybody can go build these workflows inside of the CBM Marketing Suite. And again, this is completely free at no cost. So if you're a business owner or brand owner, entrepreneur who wants to get a pulse on their marketing or just wants to explore a new system that is not crazy expensive, go to cbmmarketingsolutions.com and look for our CBM Marketing Suite, sign up for an account for free, and you'll immediately start to see the tools in there that will help you organize and then get to a point of to amplify.
That is great. That is great. And I guess you have a premium version, and then what would be the price point?
Yeah,
As
good
you
question.
as I get more futures, I think.
Yeah, so all those items that I just mentioned, from a CRM to an appointment scheduler to the executive marketing report to automations, even to forms and follow-up emails, that is all 100% free for any business owner. And that marketing suite has several more tools that are built in, and then we have upgrade features. And so let's run through those and talk about those real quick. So starting with CBM Listing Sync, this is where we take your business information that's stored inside of the marketing suite. So if you can envision all of the information that's kept inside of a business profile, ranging from your hours to your logo, your short description, your categories, your toll-free number, your email address, all that stuff gets stored here in the marketing suite. When you sign up for CBM Listing Sync, it will push out your whole business profile, and it will create more than 50 different profiles on review sites and listing sites out there. And so these range, instant backlinks and instant ranking and awareness for a new business owner. Even for many that have been established for so many years, as soon as they get CBM Listing Sync, you're instantly listed. And so it will sync your information to Google Maps, Apple Maps, Facebook, Instagram. It even pushes it out to ChatGPT and some of the different AIs. And so you're then indexed in those AIs without even, doing any press.
Yeah.
So
That is
CBM,
that is powerful.
it's pretty slick. So that CBM Listing Sync, and inside of there, you can also see how you're ranking for specific keywords. So also a neat aspect. Another one I would share is CBM Catalyst. CBM Catalyst is where we enable email and text message marketing right inside of the marketing suite. And so You can have your list of 2,000 people and you can, send them out a quick text message or email about an upcoming sale or promotion or about a new product. And so very powerful. I believe it starts at like 49 or 59 bucks a month or something like that. Another great tool. CBM AI is another fantastic add-on that we have. CBM AI is your 24/7 chat receptionist and voice receptionist that will answer your chat inquiries on your website and will answer your phone, route calls, set up appointments, notify a team member. So that's all done inside of CBM AI. It's powered by ChatGPT. It is some of the most game-changing technology for a small business owner who's running his
Yes.
own thing, her own thing, and is in the field all day, and you can't answer calls while you're working and while you're chatting to a new customer. And so with CBM AI, you can have that field your calls, add the contact to your marketing suite, send the person a text message that says, "Hey, I saw you called. Here's a link to set up a time for service one or service two. Take your pick." And it's just all built right there in the CBM Marketing Suite automations.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks, man. CBM Listing Sync is $50 a month. CBM AI has a couple different versions, starting at $39 a month, going up to $129 a month. CBM Catalyst, $59 per month. Another one that we have is called CBM Social. Get you back on camera here. CBM Social is comparable to like a Hootsuite or a Post Planner. We built our very own. It's called CBM Marketing Suite. It's got a content calendar and a few unique attributes that I think sets it apart from things like Hootsuite and Post Planner. And so with CBM Social, you can post out to Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, and LinkedIn Business. And also include groups that if you also manage groups, you can post there too. So this is going to one place. You're going to put your content in. You're going to upload your image or a few images, select which channels you want that to go to. You can even then customize by channel and make the content unique for X and unique for Instagram and unique for Facebook and for Google My Business. And so from a time saving standpoint, if you are a marketing manager or a business owner, running your own stuff, CBM Social can save you not only, many hours over the course of the year, but it'll also ensure that when you do post, that it's going out to each of these different platforms.
Yes.
And in today's world and technology, well, don't go to Facebook and do a post because you have 5 other platforms. You could just go to CBM Social and that's only $30 a month. And it is some of the lowest hanging fruit that a marketer could use to help get their reach out.
Correct.
Yep. Traffic is, I see so many businesses trying to reimagine, what what the customer nurturing process looks like. How do we, not make this seem too AI and keep a human element and, take advantage of all the technology and immediate follow up. So it just seems like there's a lot of business owners realizing like, okay, hey, it's time that we start taking these steps, to go another year or 2 or 3, ignoring your digital marketing presence or AI altogether, is possibly detrimental to a business at this point.
And knowing that and the experience that you have, where do you think the customers feel the biggest gap? It is leads, it is follow up, it is reviews.
Biggest gap for, do you mean like businesses in general?
Yes,
Where,
like the business that you see every single day, like your
um,
clients.
I, I would say, well, it's not our clients because we're doing all this for them now, but paid
Yeah.
advertising and active content creation and then press syndication are 3 things that really need to be happening right now.
Yeah. And which metrics matters the most to them?
Hmm. Uh, growth is revenue growth is super important. And looking at a year over year, getting granular on the data. One of the biggest things I like to look at is cost per landing page view. Are you driving people to the website, for a good metric? If you're a marketing manager, business owner who has no idea how much your cost per landing page view is, I suggest that you look really closely and try to figure that out. Came across one business owner who was spending $700 a month on Facebook ads. Come to find out, he was only getting about 10 or 15 website visits. And so we came in and turned on Facebook ads manager, retargeting, lookalike. We set up probably 3 or 4 really great audiences for him. And we got people there for about 15 to 20 cents a piece. That's over the course of a year, it became the difference of 750,000 in revenue for him, just with a standard baseline $750 a month Facebook ad budget. We were able to apply that to a lift essentially. So we saw, I believe it was 26,000 website visitors over the course of the year. It was about 148 more leads. And so it quantified all the way down just by that. Looking at that one thing, are we getting people to the website?
Yeah, that's great. Now, let's go more to your point of view as
Sure.
entrepreneur. How did you scale? How did you scale your company? Where you start from? When was the moment that you see, okay, I need to scale?
Yeah.
And what was that decision? Was people? It was investment? Was what is it that you say, okay, I need to scale, I need to invest in this thing?
That's a great question, man. And I feel like if you are on the mission of trying to scale something, and at one point in the past, like you made the decision, like, okay, I'm going to scale this company. This is what I'm setting out to do. There's somewhat of some different phases along the way of that. I think for an entrepreneur, it doesn't necessarily turn off at any point.
Now, going to a little bit more about your mindset as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what was the moment that you decide it's time to scale?
Yeah.
And what was that decision? What was that thing that you came up with? That is the first thing that I have to do
Yeah.
in order
Sure.
to grow up.
Gotcha. So I think it was about our third year in business. What I began to see is that the strategies that we were using were working, and it became really clear because some of the revenue growth numbers could only be explained with like really intelligent, thoughtful, strategic digital marketing. And it was at that point where I said, okay, I we want to grow this bigger. I see how we can help just about any business out there. And so at that point, that whole journey was a rinse and repeat here. So you get so many customers and you're completely maxed out, and you're at that break point, and you essentially have to say, okay, I need person A, person B. And so
Okay.
it was a project coordinator and a graphic designer. At the time, I had some really tumultuous things happening in my life, and so it was even more of a no brainer. Whereas, like, well, I need a graphic designer now because I can't even think about, doing a kayaking ad. And then a project coordinator just to kind of help, moving things along. And so with that group, we grew from about 7 to 15 clients. We added on a website developer. Let's see. And it was in 2024, we reached about 35 clients. And at that point, we needed to add on an administrative position. And now we're at that point now, kind of a tipping spot between 40 active managed and 60 active managed. There's a couple really instrumental pieces that we're now getting ready to add, which I'm excited to announce is going to be a social media manager who is going to be ultimately taking the place and filling the role of our recently promoted account manager. And so as the team participates, and grows, it's important as an agency owner to say, okay, like let's nurture that talent right there and let's build you into this next spot. And so, Alexandra, who was, I would say, pretty shy in the beginning, is, when she was finishing school, now she's an account manager who's managing roughly 40 accounts. And,
Wow.
just powering conversations, knocking through agendas. And so, yeah, it has been, I get to a certain spot and say, we've got to add, a new team member here. You got to make sure to have enough clients to do that, which means you needed to have put in the sweat equity, on the front side. And so I
Yes.
think a lot of people are just trying to like step into that role. And it's like, well, if you haven't put in the sweat equity on the front side to learn the ads, build the systems, strategize, build up your team members, you're going to be missing out on the backside.
That's a great advice. And tell us a little bit about what is work like all businesses.
Yeah.
What is working well for you and what is that frustrate you in the as entrepreneur in your business?
Did you say what frustrates me?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it is a pay to play world. Facebook has monetized itself through advertising, and Google has monetized itself through advertising. If you want to reach a wider group of audience, you have to put together intelligent paid ad strategies. And
Okay.
so I love when a client says, hey, I like that. Let's go. Let's try it. Let's see what happens here. Um, what kind of frustrates me is not just closed mindedness, but when people expect instant results, you know, they haven't touched their website in 4 years. And, next month they're expecting their traffic, to be insane. And so there are some instances where it's just kind of like a little bit of patience, slow down. Great question, man. So in 2019, I was at kind of a make or break point with CBM and, looking at the operating expenses, looking at revenue coming in. And, it was really apparent that I had to, get serious. And it was a pretty young point in my company. And so I set out on a door to door run around the town I live in, which is Cottonwood, Arizona.
Okay.
And I walked in and I introduced myself to these business owners. And before that, I had done a little bit of research, and just noticed, hey, they're not posting to Google My Business. Okay, they haven't posted on Facebook in a month. They only have 13 reviews, and so did a little bit of research on the front side and kind of identified some opportunities for the business. And then when I went in, I said, hey, we have great marketing services, but I just wanted to share a little bit of feedback with you about your digital presence. I noticed that you're not posting on Google My Business. It's a great thing that you can actually do to, it's for SEO. It's for sharing people looking on Google. You can add some images there. So I would really recommend that you guys do that, or, hey, I noticed you're not retargeting because you didn't follow me around with an ad after. And you're a local restaurant, maybe you guys should consider trying that. And so we tried to come to local businesses with the information that could help their business. And I think it was 3 or 4 days, and that led to, I think, 8 to 10 clients out of those, 15 or 20 conversations. Yeah, and then that was the last marketing campaign that we did, which was about 6 years ago. And so, yeah, man, and so since then it's been just like an organic growth journey where, we've had some clients as like, create new businesses. It's been some referrals just, from word of mouth, and we are again, kind of at that point right now where we're staffing up and getting ready to more go to market, to share what we have with the world. Our marketing tools are incredibly powerful and really reasonably priced. And so if you compared each of our CBM SaaS tools to the other marketing tools out there, you'll find that on average, ours are between anywhere from like 30 to 60% less in price for a very comparable product.
That is awesome. Nice. This is questions for entrepreneur. You have to fix a bottleneck that slows you today.
Yeah.
What it would be?
I am right now the worst bottleneck of my company. And in the past, that's how you can tell that your process needs to be fixed or you need to hire help.
Yeah.
And, I can think of a few instances where the team is ready to move forward. The team wants to move forward. They have the time to move forward. And I become a little bit of the bottleneck where, too much of the information lives kind of within me. And so we're removing the strategy and kind of getting it out of my head onto, a more practical area for the team to use. And so we've done this using some of the artificial intelligence tools, using what we call a client playbook for our clients. We built some pretty impressive prompts and workflows to kind of support all that.
And tell us, how did you have your own AI team? How do I see? And it's very interesting. You are very into AI as a guest, of course, because you have seen the potential and how it helps and the necessity for now and the future. How do you manage it? How do you think in terms of take advantage, not just for your business, for your clients? So how came up in you?
Yeah. I guess that's a question kind of around innovation and
Exactly.
imagination. A wise man once told me, curiosity creates failures. And so it's important to be curious. It's important to fail. We tried several things. We've been trying several things with AI, a lot of which, aren't going to work for our clients and aren't going to work for us. But we've also found a lot of items that do work. Right now, the range of tools, I mean, Grok is just amazing. Nano Banana is unbelievable. Adobe now has AI that can create images and, pop those right over to Photoshop. There are so many tools to explore. And while I think it's important to continue exploring those, obviously stay on top of what's trending, but think like, okay, how can I apply this? And reimagine what you thought was possible before. An example that I'll use is I was told a while back, can't do any more reels than 4 reels in 3.5 hours for creating
Yes.
reels. And I said, man, I want to like reimagine that. Like and then, within Opus is already launched at that point, so Opus is out there and you can create short form clips, very, very easily. And so I think it's really important for everybody to forget everything that they knew.
Okay.
And at times you need to approach the world as if you're just a child walking around AI land thinking, well, what could I build? Wouldn't it be cool if I could do that? Well, what if we could do that? I'll share a little bit that we're doing behind the scenes. And next week, I believe we'll be filing some patent paperwork for it.
Okay.
It's around artificial intelligence business presence optimization. And so that is called AI BPO. And, how a business shows up to the human eye, that's the web interface, right? That's what we look at on a website. That's not always built for artificial intelligence. And so what we're creating is a schema that is unique, and this schema we're going to be applying to websites. And within that schema is a variety of information that is placed in a way that's very easy for AI to read. And
Okay.
so what we're seeing is that using our new AI BPO schema, we will be able to instantly rank businesses and help AI better interpret them and what they actually offer, where they're at, what their hours are, what are their accolades, what are the recent press mentions. A huge number of searches are moving away from Google
True.
onto the Google AI or over to ChatGPT or over to Grok. And with AI BPO, this will be a way that you as a business owner can keep a up-to-date resume for artificial intelligence to read on your website. And you can get
Powerful.
this, you can get this by going to aibpo.us. Again, it's
Mhm.
aibpo.us. And when you go there, you can set up an account. You'll fill in all your business information. There's a free AI BPO, chunk of code that you get if you want to get the full code of 67 different lines of schema. I think it's $39 or something like that for a membership to keep that updated. So yeah, be curious, explore, create.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That that is fantastic.
yeah,
Great answer. And well, let's see our final question.
yeah.
What is your mindset? So how do you came up with it? What is motivate you, or what is not motivate you? What is the thing that you believe? What is the thing that you don't believe? How? Tell us.
I tend to reject a lot of the I'm going to call them societal fallacies, things that society has helped create over the course of time. The 9 to 5, you need to go to school, to get to this point. Friday nights are meant for partying, and Sunday nights, Sunday mornings are meant for worship, and, you know, Saturday mornings are meant for cartoons and sleeping in.
Yeah.
I reject those days of the week and that concept. I think that, creativity, and I don't think it should be limited to a certain time, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I don't think that, spending family time, should just be, that 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I guess I reject a lot of the norms, which leads me to, well, why would I continue to work if I had a machine that generated energy or output, or, was generated a monetary value in the end? And so to build a machine that does this it needs to really do three things. It needs to solve a problem for the community, and for people. It needs to have a sustainable way of life for the people who are helping support it. So team members, that's taking care of the team and having a good culture, and having that family. And then three is just make sure that you're not harming the environment, like in a negative way. And so if you can solve a problem, not impact the environment in a negative way, and sustain your team members for a high quality of life, it's like, well, that I think as an entrepreneur, is what everybody wants to do, is to create a system that's going to generate wealth, while you're not working. For me right now, the path to, build on, and what we've set out to build is super clear. So I've got a really clear task list of, what the next 6 months and year and 2 years looks like. We've got 7 exciting new sales channels that we're going to be opening up. That's going to kind of just open up the water flow into CBM. And then we'll be looking at, how can we bring on the most impactful team members to do the very best job for our clients.
That is great, Aaron. Thank you so much for your answer, for your sharing your knowledge. This is a great episode, and
Thanks.
I enjoyed a lot.
I really enjoyed being on, Evo, and thank you for the questions. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see this come out, man, and hopefully we can get together and do another collaboration in the future.
For sure. Thank you, guys, for watching. See you next episode.
Bye, guys. All right, bye.